The world responding to the recently implemented tariffs. Thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Abigail Franklin.
And I'm Julia Roberts. We begin tonight with how Norman will be affected. OU Nightly reporter Kariana Gamboa spoke with local business owners to hear their reactions on how these new tariffs will be impacting them.
It's not the usual type of decor you see here in the U.S. That's why Derek Massey, owner of LMN Rustic Decor, imports his unique furniture from places like India and Asia.
They pretty much just come over on containers, and it's really just about us picking the product that we like and then, shipping it over.
The home decor and furniture he imports are expected to soon be more expensive because of those tariffs.
More than likely, we would probably have to raise prices. I mean, it would kind of depend on if we're able to maybe absolve some of the shipping costs.
Other vendors at this market will be hurt by tariffs too, but some here see a potential silver lining, a spike in sales of locally produced goods.
They'll come to us and go, oh, maybe I could buy a great pair of vintage nightstands that are mid-century without going to buy something that's higher in tax.
It's going to actually help vendors like us, because I think it's going to stir people from new. We are cheaper, than someone who was to go to a department store and buy a brand new pair of boots.
A tariff war is uncharted territory for these small business people, but they see no choice but to face the uncertainty head on and
roll with the punches.
They say they are still going to continue business as usual, such as setting up shop at markets like these. Whether optimistic or pessimistic, shop owners are bracing themselves for uncertainties that may come as tariffs kicks in live at the fairgrounds. Kariana Gamboa. They say they are still going to continue business as...
Sorry for the technical difficulties. We're trying to get our scripts in order there. We're going to go ahead and jump over to the next story here. Gamers, you might want to listen up, because if you're wanting to pre-order the new Nintendo Switch 2 console, the company has now announced that there's going to be a delay in those pre-orders. This comes after a possible price change on the item due to tariffs imposed by the Trump administration. Gamers inside the OU eSports program believe the price could increase upwards of $200 more than the initial launch price. This potential increase in price has raised some concern for gamers that have been waiting for the console's release.
I know, I saw online that it'd take the prices from like $450 to $650, which is rough. It'll definitely affect the sales, because their main demographic is families. It's going to be hard. It's a hard sell for 600 console, $80 games.
Gamers at OU are bracing for increasing prices on products and equipment across many other platforms as well. All right, well, we're talking about the weather, and I think the word roller coaster is probably a good word to describe this year so far. And when it comes to the weather, and it's safe to say that this roller coaster is going to continue.
Yeah, I would say it's continuing for sure with this wet weather pattern, but OU Nightly meteorologist Sam Patterson has been tracking the rain with more on the way. Sam, our rain totals are pretty up there.
Yeah, we've seen a good bit of rain over even just the last 24 hours. Here in Norman, half an inch already out toward the west, about an inch in Elk City, and 2 inches off to the eastern portion of the state. But if we look at just the last 3 days, over an inch and a half here in Norman and higher totals elsewhere. Now, Medieval Fair does start this weekend. And even though the precip totals are very high, Scotty Allen joins us with a lot of people out at the Medieval Fair. Scotty?
Yeah, that's right, Sam. We had that rain coming through. The grass is a bit muddy here, but that's not keeping the fairgoers away. There's plenty of people out here enjoying the attractions and the food. I might even try my hand out at the jousting arena behind me before the next round of rain is on the way. And cooler temperatures. Sam, when's that rain going to be arriving?
Yeah, Scotty, we'll take a look at that rain in just a little bit. Something to keep in mind for tomorrow if you do plan on heading out to the Medieval Fair. We are under a marginal risk of flash flooding coming up, though. Like I said, we take a look at another severe threat, that continued rainfall, and unfortunately, snow could be back in the air.
Thanks, Sam. OU students can expect the construction on Jenkins Ave from Lindsay Street to Imhoff Road to last a little longer than originally expected. The road work funded by the city's 2019 Transportation Bond project began on March 3rd. The project would turn Jenkins into a 4-lane roadway as well as improve storm drain infrastructure and pedestrian safety. However, some students are concerned about the future delays this might cause.
Anything, it's just frustrating because there's usually a lot of traffic, and the construction certainly doesn't help, especially with the turning and all of that. It just makes things confusing. There's also a lot of pedestrians walking there, and so with all of that confusion and traffic, I think it just creates more of a dangerous situation for students on campus.
Construction was originally scheduled to be finished in October of 2026. Now Norman officials says it is expected to be done in the spring of 2027.
All right, certainly something to look out for. Well, still ahead, pushing back against President Trump's tariffs. One country is taking retaliation route and hitting back at the U.S. with their own tariff. What you need to know just ahead.
Plus, rain. The Mid-South experiencing unprecedented rainfall and more is on the way. How states are cleaning up and preparing ahead of the storm when OU Nightly continues.
Even the mighty might not see it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. But you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
The global trade war escalates with China now retaliating to President Trump's latest tariffs. Reagan Garvin has that and the rest of today's national headlines from the News Center.
Julia, China pushes back with a 34% tariff on all U.S. imports starting April 10th. It's the same percentage President Trump put on all Chinese goods Wednesday. China is America's second largest importer of goods. President Trump criticizes this move, saying China played it wrong and panicked. And right after China's announcement, Dow dropped over 2,000 points or 5%. That's only the 4th time in history. Also down, the S&P and NASDAQ by almost 6%. This comes after the worst drop in 5 years on Thursday. JP Morgan analysts say America and the broader world economy both have a 60% chance of recession this year. And tonight, several states across the Mid-South are bracing for what's being called once-in-a-generation flooding. It comes after devastating storms this week killed at least 8 people, including a Kentucky child today. The National Weather Service says some areas will likely reach double digits in rainfall and possibly up to 15 inches. There's more time on the clock for TikTok. Today, President Trump extended Saturday's deadline by 75 days, giving the company more time to find an American buyer or risk being banned in the U.S. Ladies.
All right, glad to see there's a little more time for us here on TikTok. All right, thanks, Reagan. So, Julia, what if you could take a vacation in space? Would you do it?
No.
Alrighty, well, hey, you know what? For those who want to do it, this might be your time to do it now, and it could be your next bucket list destination.
We don't know the price tag yet, but when OU Nightly continues, find out more about the first groups of tourists that orbited the Earth.
Tracking more storm chances. We'll take a look right after this.
Love the hustle, Cliff. Who are you?
Your lungs.
We're quite proud of you.
Even though you quit smoking years ago, you may be at risk for lung cancer.
Okay. Well, with the routine screening, you can detect it early when it's more curable.
Sounds good, guys. Can I get a little space here?
Biologically, no.
Okay.
Listen to your lungs. Get a routine screening that could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at SavedByTheScan.org.
All right, look at you taking the stairs. Who are you?
We're your lungs.
We are proud of you for quitting smoking, but you still may be at risk for lung cancer.
A routine cancer scan can detect it early when it's more curable.
Good to know. Well, I gotta go somewhere.
So do we.
So do we.
Listen to your lungs. Get a routine screening that could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at SavedByTheScan.org.
Welcome back to OU Nightly. We continue to track a multi-day severe weather outbreak across a large portion of the United States. Here for us in Norman tonight, still under a marginal risk. Our threat does seem to be pretty low, but off to the southeast, we are experiencing a moderate risk. Now, moderate risks don't usually get issued all that often, but we've seen 3 or 4 over the past week across the state, across the United States, I should say. But let's take a look back here at Norman. You can see behind me, you can see that severe weather down off towards the southeast. We're going to be we're going to be cloudy. We do have some showers making their way to central Oklahoma early into the morning hours on Saturday. And look off to the west. Well, it's April, but it doesn't feel like it. Snow returns for us on Saturday. Something to keep in mind, we do have another severe weather outlook for Saturday. You can see another enhanced risk pretty much over that same region that has experienced a large amount of severe weather over the last week or so. Southeastern Oklahoma is in that marginal risk. So nothing here in Norman, because what we're waiting for here in Norman, of course, is that blue off to our west. Saturday afternoon, clouds will stick around. Temperatures will start to drop 40 degrees already by 7 p.m. And that snow begins to make its way over central Oklahoma early into Sunday morning. Now, any snow we do get probably won't stick to the ground. You might see a little bit on cars and the grass, but roadways, they might be wet, but they won't have any snow sticking on top of them. And throughout Sunday morning, that will clear its way out. And we're going to be pretty cold. We could have another freeze for us Sunday into Monday. So pretty cold ahead. Now, taking a look at rain chances, this looks absurd, but this is accurate. Early on Saturday, 100% chance of rain. Midday into Saturday, those chances do drop off, and then we start to increase as we head into Sunday morning. And of course, flurries will be possible as we head into Sunday afternoon. Again, this thing looks absurd, but this is exactly what we have been experiencing over the better part of the last week. Now, let's flip back to Norman. You can see gray skies still overhead. The wet surfaces have decreased a little bit as we have moved throughout the day. And even though we do have snow chances, spring is in the air. You can see trees are starting to get their foliage back on top of them. Lots of green across the area. Currently 53 degrees and mostly cloudy. Dew point about 50. That humidity, if you can't tell by my hair, humidity is pretty high. We did have visibility lower this morning with cooler temperatures, but that visibility has increased. And of course, low pressure and strong north winds. So coming up in sports, we'll take a look at a sports forecast for this weekend, but little sneak peek, probably won't be seeing a whole lot of home runs with a very strong north wind. Next 7 days across the state, here in Norman, 100% chance of rain on Saturday, Mixed precip for us on Sunday. Temperatures drop down near freezing, and then we start to push 70s and even 80s by early to mid next week.
It looks like a lot of good temperatures there. A big wet pattern. I mean, you got to be kidding, right? Snow in April? Is this a joke?
Well, it's a late April Fool's joke, but unfortunately, Oklahoma doesn't seem to be joking around this time.
Oh, well, okay. Well, we'll have to be on the lookout for it. We appreciate it. Thanks so much, Sam. All right, well, they made a big splash off the coast of California. Take a look at this. That's 4 tourists. You see them right there. They're returning from the first of its kind orbit around the Earth. It was a 3.5-day trip, long enough in my book to consider a space vacation.
A cryptocurrency billionaire chartered the SpaceX Dragon capsule with 3 other people. He didn't specify the price tag on this, but if you can find out and afford it, maybe it's worth it to be among the first few to pass directly over the North and South Pole. Now going into sports, spring football is wrapping up. Hear from a top transfer on his continuing bond.
And spring sports are taking off. There is a top 10 matchup at the Diamond. Will the Sooners shine through? Find out after the break. Big Friday Sports is up next.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Jason, let's go see your room.
How was it? Is it good?
Even the mighty might not see it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. But you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Hello and welcome to Big Friday Sports. I'm Aiden Tyler.
Beerson, breaking news from OU football, tight end Davon Mitchell is expected to enter the transfer portal, according to On3 Sports. And spring football is underway as they are just 8 days away from the Crimson Combine, while fans are excited to engage with their favorite Sooners in the Palace. The OU football team is polishing up their skills and strengthening their relationships, just in time to showcase their talents to give Sooner fans a sneak peek for the upcoming season. Quarterback John Mateer gives credit where credit is due to his coach, Ben Arbuckle.
Deep, from teaching me how to be a man to a quarterback to a teammate. We have that trust and that relationship to where I'm not going to get my feelings hurt. He wants the best for me, and I know that. And we're learning together and studying together, and it's been a good relationship.
The OU women's gymnastics squad is looking to shine in the Emerald City. They're in Seattle for the NCAA Regionals. Oklahoma faces Auburn, Nebraska, and Illinois tonight at 9 p.m. Central Time. The Sooners' revenge tour is going strong. They sit at 21-2 on the season. Their only losses on the year are both at the paws of the LSU Tigers. And going towards the Diamond, the OU softball squad opened up the Okana Invitational on campus last night, hosting the Tommies from St. Thomas University in Minnesota. OU Nightly's Michael Thompson has the recap on JT Gasso's head coaching debut.
The Sooners hammered St. Thomas 12-4 in a run rule Thursday night
And they did that without the queen of softball herself, Patty Gasso. In her place, her son JT Gasso stepped in and led the charge for this Sooner squad.
It felt good. What was nice, it just felt like we were business as normal, and we'll do stuff like that at practice. We'll be at third and whatnot. But we all know the card, we know the plays and how to execute. So it was fun to be on that side of it.
And execute they did. Sydney Sanders hitting her second home run of the second inning to put the Sooners up 8-0 before later in the fourth inning, Corey Hicks hitting this one out to give the Sooners their 12th run of the game and putting the dagger in St. Thomas.
I think I was just very focused today of just working on my process, not really trying to be result oriented or like thinking too much about like, oh, how am I going to hit the ball? Just kind of going for it. And I think it worked out pretty well today. So I was excited about that.
The Sooners will be back in action this weekend for 2 games against the UCF Knights, Friday at 7 p.m. and Saturday at 12:30. Reporting from Love's Field, Michael Thompson, OU Nightly.
Oh, thanks, Michael. Coming up on Big Friday Sports, see how some Sooners express themselves off the field.
And see if the Sooners were able to make a racket against a top 5 rival, and how things look for the Thunder with just 3 games left in the regular season. Next in Big Friday Sports.
I don't remember how it started. Our back and forth. It always came back. Dad! You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Welcome back to Big Friday Sports. We took a look at this graphic a little bit earlier in the show. Now, games aren't canceled as of right now, but if you do plan on heading out to any of the games tomorrow, probably want to pack that rain jacket with you. A couple games around the noon and 2 o'clock hour. About 40 to 70% chance of rain. Not going to be a super heavy rain, but it is going to be cold, so definitely going to want that jacket on top of that rain jacket. So let's take a look at the sports forecast for tomorrow. Tonight first, 54 degrees, strong wind out of the north, 10 to 20. Taking a look at Saturday, a little bit cooler with some rain, also very strong north winds. So if you're trying to catch a home run ball in center field, probably won't get a whole lot of those.
Thanks, Sam. We just heard about what the weather is going to look like out at the ballpark, but let's take you there now. OU baseball is in a fight with LSU this weekend, and OU Nightly sports reporter Hunter Cornejo is live right down the street with the details.
I'm outside of Eldale Mitchell Park ahead of another top 10 matchup between Oklahoma and LSU. Last night, the Oklahoma pitching staff limited the LSU offense, but Tigers ace Kate Anderson pitched to Jim, striking out 14 in the complete game shutout. Here's Oklahoma head coach Skip Johnson on the 2-0 loss.
You got to tip your hat to what he did on the mound. He pitched really well. He executed his plan over and over. We got moments in the game, like in the first inning, we got to execute our plan, and that's exactly what happened. When you face a good team, or in this league or baseball period, you have got to execute your plan, and you got to stick by your plan. That's why the consistency happens in baseball. The game of baseball demands you to be consistent in everything that you do.
Oklahoma will have to be able to establish their offense tonight going against LSU starter Anthony Ianson in order to force the rubber game. First pitch is slated for tonight at 6:30. with the series finale scheduled for 2 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. Reporting from outside of Eldale Mitchell Park, Hunter Cornejo, OU Nightly.
Well, thanks so much, Hunter. While performance on the field certainly matters to student athletes, what they do off the field can be equally important. OU Nightly's Amy Acevedo has the story on some Sooner athletes that have a passion for fashion.
Student athletes at the University of Oklahoma shine while competing. But only a handful of them will go pro after college, which after a lifetime of sport can leave some students unsure of where to go next. Enter the Varsity Vogue fashion show, where students can show off their styles and prepare for their futures.
Everything about the student athlete experience is really important to me, just to engage student athletes and to get them out of their comfort zone. So I think this event in particular is really fun, just to do something that's out of our uniform, out of the practice gear, dress up a little bit. We don't get to do that often.
But for these students, it's about dressing for success on and off the field. And I could use some help myself.
Our athletes are always dressed in athleisure and getting ready for competition, so they're always fitted in whatever the equipment manager gives to them. And so when it comes to life after sports, there's always a struggle with how to dress. And so we want to help them with that transition of when they get off the field. We want to really help them dress for success, for championships, and then also when they go to apply for jobs in corporate world.
But dressing professionally doesn't mean students have to compromise on personality.
For you to go to Dillard's and have a stylist actually style you, take your opinions into account, and them to show you different options, I think it gives the student athletes the ability to, kind of holistically bring their style, their own personal style and what they like into their professional wear.
And these lessons are some that the student athletes will take with them for a lifetime.
Sometimes going professional can be easier for some sports than others. So for the sports that it's more difficult to do so, knowing how to be prepared in those situations, whether it's how you show up, how you speak, is important.
Reporting from Memorial Stadium, Amy Acevedo, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Amy. The number 8 Oklahoma women's tennis team traveled to Ole Miss for a final road swing. They started their match at 4 today and will travel to Baton Rouge to face number 10 LSU on Sunday at 11.
Well, the Red River rivalry was on campus last night as the OU men's tennis team tried to hook the horns. But the top 5 Texas Longhorns bucked off the Sooners 4-1, despite OU taking 2 doubles matches. Senior night for OU is tomorrow at noon as the Mighty Tigers from LSU visit Norman.
The Oklahoma City Thunder will hit the hardwood tonight in Houston. OKC is 3-1 against the Rockets this season. And as they come off a big win against the Pistons, we will see if the Thunder rolls, while they look to secure their 12th straight win tonight at 8. Well, thanks for watching Big Friday Sports. I'm Holly McPherson.
And I'm Aiden Tyler. Be sure to watch OU Nightly weekdays live at 4:30. Good night, everybody.
Love the hustle, Cliff. Who are you?
Your lungs.
We're quite proud of you.
Even though you quit smoking years ago, you may be at risk for lung cancer.
Okay. Well, with the routine screening, you can detect it